Hello, Wren here. Today I'm going to be reading for you from Wire Wings. It's a young adult science fiction about the nature of grief and identity in a world where artificial intelligence and virtual reality are becoming more prominent. In this scene in the book, the main character, Graciela, has met once again a mysterious AI, and they're playing an online game, and she's gotten a message from him to meet her in the game. We're going to dive right in. She runs the slip of paper between her fingers as the wind batters her exposed smile. The ground beneath her is busy with figures made insignificant by distance, small black and gray points on the equally gray sidewalk. There's a storm in the air today. The glitching sky roils with clouds that move quickly enough to track, sliding past from the metropolis on the horizon and building up against the edge of the sea where the programming ends. The paper is sepia, the letters typed on an old-fashioned typewriter, courier font. She's never received a note to her number before, and might be fascinated even if the message wasn't one that made her stand up straighter, made her breath soar. This one just says, Rooftop, Friday, 8 p.m. It's the closest thing to a date she's ever had. The edge of the roof bites into the bottom of her shoes as she leans forward on the balls of her feet, letting the wind catch her and buffet her back into her place in a kneeling crouch. She almost drops the paper, but firms her grip and eventually slides it into one of the many holsters on her legs. It's 7:58 p.m. She pretends she isn't checking the time on a stopwatch hanging from her belt, takes out a knife and plays a bastard version of pin finger between her feet, reveling in the way her balance trembles as she shifts from right to left. You know, if you die here, it sticks, a voice behind her remarks. She didn't hear him rez in, but she isn't surprised. Does it? She asks, and leans forward. He shouts, makes a grab for her arm, and the wind catches them both and buffets them to safety. She falls, laughing, into his arms, and the momentum of his charge sends them both to the ground. She twists on top of him, pulling her chin in her hands, the points of her elbows resting on his corded chest. And here I thought you were a man of fire, she says. He runs a hand through his hair. Today it's dripping, water falling as perfect cartoon teardrops which disappear in the air, leaving no moisture behind. His face is the same as their previous encounter in urban noir, and he's wearing suit pants and suspenders. A compact gun rests in the holster at his shoulder. I thought you were trying to send me a message, he says. Do most gals whose skirts you chase throw themselves off buildings, she teases. Letting her hands trail across his chest, she stands, and he follows suit. Maybe they would if they saw me coming, he says, his voice a liquid burn down her throat. Like alcohol, it leaves a buzz in its wake, an intoxicating pain. Don't pretend to be complicated, she chides. I never did like the brooding hero. Who says I'm the hero? Are you going to push me off then? She does a box step closer to the edge. Dancing, he follows, the tension in the lines of his body more suited to a tango than a waltz. Would you trust me if I did? He wraps a hand around her waist and they dance a step closer. Her heel hovers a millimeter into the void. She presses her body against his, leans in close and smiles through her words. Not a chance in hell. He laughs and spins her, his strong arm supporting her as she leaps through empty air, dancing on the wind before he yanks her back, spinning on the asphalt rooftop, the skirt she didn't have a moment ago flaring out, fluttering like the wings of a bird before sinking down, caressing her thighs and the curve of her knees as it fades from view. Their hands feel fused, the grip so sure, and she laughs and leans back on her heels for a moment before he catches her and pulls, spinning her close, following the line of the roof now, dancing on it but avoiding the plunge. He curls her back against his chest and she lets him go, knocking him a step further away. The game over. She flips hair out of her face in an unconscious gesture, breathing heavily from exertion and adrenaline, and reaches down, deliberately stretching the length of her long spine to adjust the tongue of her boot. So, sailor, she says, why the telegram? I've got a job in the works. We made such a good team last time, I thought I would proffer another deal. I don't know that I believe you really do jobs, she counters. That intel was just an excuse to get my number. But you bob and weave? You didn't need those times. Sure, I could have followed him for the next 2 weeks, gotten the schedule on my own, he allows. But time is experience and experience is life, and why would I waste mine doing footwork that's already been walked for me? I'll admit the number was the real prize, but the intel wasn't just for the wind. You really got beef with Rocky Sweet? I'll tell you the whole sordid tale if we shake on it. Need to know more before I decide if I'm in. She sits on the edge of the roof, one knee bent and her body turned to the side, the other dangling off the edge. He copies her, leaning back against the comfortable back of an armchair protruding impossibly from the ground. I'm wise on you this time, he warns. Here's what you need to know. I think Sweet's got a deal on the side, something I'm interested in, and confirming it is a two-man job. No risk. Guaranteed. In exchange... Not much info before I jump, she says, knocking her foot against the wall for emphasis. That's all you get. He smiles, already knowing what her answer will be, and she rolls her eyes in acknowledgement. He's right. She's in neck deep and they both know it. Here's my price. No negotiations. You take it or you walk. You got my ear? Take me diving. He cocks his head, genuinely puzzled, but definitely intrigued. You're already diving. You go places no one can. The spaces between. The raw data of the waves. Take me there. He hesitates. The armchair behind him flickers and dies as he straightens, and droplets splatter into nothing as he runs a hand through his slick wet hair. Please? She whispers. It's not that I ain't game, he hedges. It's just... He loses the gangster drawl and some of the confidence in the set of his shoulders. I don't know if I can. I've never tried. You got a tiny glimpse when I dived out of that library, and you de-rezzed. I'm not sure a line can handle raw data. Okay, how about this? I thought you said no negotiations, he says. Confidence returned, if not restored. On your end, I'm always allowed to change the deal. Her smile is a promise, fingertips up a spine. Go on then. An attempt isn't worth as much as a guarantee. So you give it a try, and I won't call it a welch, even if it doesn't work. And we'll add a little something on top. A little... something? He leans forward. She matches the movement. Their faces are inches apart. She can see the individual lashes around his eyes. 4 packets, she whispers in his ear, and then leans back, watching his body shake with laughter, pleased that she seems to have as much power over him as he wields over her. Do we have a deal, Johnny-O? Thanks for joining me. If you are interested in reading more about Wire Wings, you can get it on Amazon or at the Parliament House website. Thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.